Welcome, one and all, to the PPPPP with Prodigy, Toast, and Pander.
More peace.
Prospect Prattle Playoff Prediction Podcast.
Panders, Prospect, Prattle, Prediction, Playoff, blah, 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 blah.
Featuring Prod. The plan for this podcast is just to go through each one of these little guys, these matchups, and just give some thoughts about who we think is going to be taking the W on these, who we got for the grand finals, mayhaps, and argue about that.
There's a lot on the line here beyond bragging rights. We have all sworn a blood pact that whoever is the most wrong will be dismembered. So we're all fighting for our lives here.
When did I agree to this?
When you cut your hand and shook hands with me after I cut my hand, are you...
That's what that was for? Oh.
Yeah, when we drank the poultices with the chicken entrails, we kind of sealed that deal. We're on the clock here. We've got to
be a lesson
do
for
our
you
best.
kids. Read the fine print.
All right. Matchup, we got Bull versus T. Can you remind us who's on T? This is like bluish.
Well, T is a similar to their last season roster. I mean, you have Peck,
bluish, numbnuts.
Yeah, Peck and Numbnuts are the returning players. I think Bluish is a call up from recruits, and then you have Imdeleri, the free agent op, and Zekraming, who I think is a rookie who really impressed me in the preseason.
And Zekro.
That's a great name. I love Zekraming. It just sounds like a Flash Gordon villain kind of name.
Dude, Flash Gordon mentioned that's a coin in the fucking swear.
I am ancient, okay? I have lots of like pre 1980s references ready to go.
And they're going up against Boa, who is also, they only have one returning player, right? It's just
Iron Chad. Another amazing name. But they have a lot of they also have a returning free agent Opper and Artichoke. They have Bacon, who I think was in Tendy last season. He's a really sharp rifler. Lurgy was the
on Boa last season?
No, he was on Cow, I think.
Cow, right.
Lurgy was a recruit last season, I think, and he's been doing really well in Prospect. And then Lawyer Pie is a rookie who's kind of a do-it-all support maven, who's just having a fantastic rookie season. One of the might be in the Rookie of the Year talks.
So this team has a pretty similar story to last season, where it was like they were kind of blasting everyone all season, and then they went through the playoffs, won it all. I mean, going in as number one seed is a little bit of a curse. It's pretty common for the first seed to just like take those last few games of the season and coast, and then they end up in playoffs where, you know, maybe not the 16th seed, but some of these later teams have been really putting in a ton of work, and they just get rolled at some point. I'm not sure if the Boas are going to be doing that.
Well, they have lost 2 out of 3, but those were respectable losses to Boo and Final Girl. Like that's if you're going to lose, they're not bad teams to lose to, and they beat Frog in between that. So it just seems like there's a bit more parity at the end. Maybe they're experimenting, trying more nuke matchups. There's excuses they can make. They still finished the 93 record and look strong the entire way through. So it's hard to say that they're fading. It just maybe there's a chink or two in the armory that could be exploited, but I don't know if it's by the Boa Gs. I don't think T is the team that can exploit that any weaknesses.
I think it seemed like they were using those last few games of the season to test out some maps that they hadn't played before.
They played Mirage. they played Mirage. They actually beat the Wedgies on Mirage 13-5 in match day 8. So they are very familiar with Mirage. It was just Nuke they hadn't done all season. And last season, Boa was a Nuke team. That was their playground. They owned teams on Nuke. They historically had when they were the Decibel Demons, like the Dizzy, Joe Core, Gillionaire Core. They love Nuke, and I think Iron Chad wanted to bring some of that magic back. And they lost to the Cedar Creek Creeps, but then they beat the Toads on Nuke. So I would worry about that in the playoffs. If you take the Crown Cobras to Nuke, you probably are in for a bad time.
Okay. Who do we got? I'm assuming we're all on the Boa side here versus T.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest struggle is keeping a straight face. Boa 2-0.
Oh.
No, I love T. T crushed the Associates, so did Boa. But I just think that Boa is a complete team that everyone shows up and drops good numbers, and Wedgies kind of have a little bit of inconsistency on that front.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I don't think T is a bad team. I just think Boa is gonna be beating pretty much everyone on this bracket. So you're not alone, T. You're just the first in line to get kind of owned.
Yeah, I don't think. Sorry, go ahead.
I have to give some respect to T though, because a lot of their wins this season have been like pretty respectable. Like HG is a good team, and that they beat in overtime. OS they lost to overtime, in overtime, but they beat HR if I recall correctly. Beach they had a lot of close games. Like pretty sure Wiz is they're I think they played all 24 rounds. Like if one or two more rounds go the other way,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a Cinderella story, but if anybody could do it, T's just one of those any given Tuesday, Thursday teams where they could Bluish just randomly pops off, or Delirium just goes nuts with the off. They can make it. I think they can make it scary.
I do too.
I think you have the right idea in that. I think everyone on T, 1 in 3 games, they can pop off with 1.3, 1.4 rating game. They could do that. But the problem is with Boa, 3 out of 3 games, 4 out of 5 of them are going to post a 1.0 or better. There's just too much consistency so that the heroic efforts just aren't consistent enough on the T side to match that level of steady performance.
Okay. I'm going to close the book on this one just so we can move on.
Yeah, I don't think Boa is getting challenged until the semifinals. I think that this is just a feast, going to be an appetizer.
I got to switch this one. Okay, we got Boa up there. Now we go to Nan. I won't have
It's
to
a good
ask
one.
who's on that team.
Go ahead. Can you name all of your teammates?
No. The Rackington, we got. Oh, I started with J first for some reason.
Well, there's a lot of J's in it. So just by
Make sure you put a star next to that name.
Am I drawing way bigger than I was before? We got. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to move some of this shit around. It's gonna be too much. Anyway, Happy. We got Damone.
Shout out Happy and Damone, former Frogs.
Stolen right from the Frogs. And then we got Ted. Good lord. Versus HR. Who the frick is on HR?
Vice.
Well, Vice is the returning member. Your captain and caller is going to be Neapolitan.
Neo.
who's been just a really remarkably awesome rookie. You got Provolone, who's a recruit call-up. You got Dr. True, who's a Tendy knockdown. Had himself a really good season here in Prospect. Probably will get back up to Tendy if, God's willing. And then the last is Urpel, or Light Urpel, as the Celebrity Jeopardy reference goes, who's another rookie who's having a lights out season.
Okay. So on NAM we got Ruby Rex calling, DJ Jazzy Jess, who has 2 trophies. Got Damone on the op. Happy and Teddy is riflers. Teddy's more of a support. Ruby's more of a support. I have popped off in the past. Haven't been popping off lately. Had a bad week last week.
Yeah, when it comes to playoffs, like, I never discredit Nan, no matter how good nor bad their season is. They're usually just a different team in playoffs, and that might be because I've been knocked out by Nan more often than any other team. But they just show up different. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the coaching is. I hate giving Scott any which way credit, and I'm not going to. But it's I just can't explain it. It's just a different atmosphere when especially Jess, when she's in playoff form. And the scariest thing I think you see is when Jess is having like a really, really great game, because she tends to carry that momentum game over game. I've watched like VODs of former players, like when they're playing in playoffs, and like the scariest thing is Jess getting like a 2 or 3K while laughing. And then like talking shit it's like the scariest thing to be on the other side.
I haven't run into Nan when they're at their strongest. Usually I catch them when they're on a downswing or just starting to figure things out. So I haven't seen it yet. I'm eager to, and I think I will in the playoffs. I went with Nan over HR mostly because I think they have the experience, and I think they'll have a little bit better util. I know that you, Ruby, are like one of the top players in terms of util damage, and I know that Teddy S and Happy are both really good at chip damage with util and contributing in that respect too. Damone is a little bit mercurial this season. He's not quite the same player he was last season, but I think he can show up on the op. And really, I think the inexperience of HR is going to be exploitable. Like, I think you can run a little bit more convoluted schemes in the playoffs that that maybe in the regular season you don't see kind of the shit that in this, and go through the stress ringer that the playoffs bring. So I think you're gonna pull through this time. I think it's gonna be a little close. I think they'll take one off you, but I'm thinking it's gonna be a Nan win.
Okay.
I also have Nan winning this.
I'm just gonna put toast.
That's fair. I had my reservations about HR throughout the season. Midway through the season, I had said in one of the prattles that I was nervous about their strength of schedule, and they just beat up like really, really bad teams. I don't want to call any teams bad, actually. Let me take that back. The teams on that came out the gate struggling. And then after I said that, they like lost, I don't know, 2 or 3 straight, and then came back, had a nice win against OS, and then kind of flip-flopped the rest of the season. But I think maybe their early season winning had us putting a lot, and obviously like Nan's historical runs have been insane, or not Nan, sorry, HR's historical runs have been insane. The 3-peat and all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think we put a lot of stock in HR, but I'm more nervous about this squad than previous seasons.
I think you bring up a good point. I think you bring up a good point. They really hadn't beaten anyone elite this season. The Journeyman was probably the best one they had, but that was week 1 when teams are still figuring things out. After that, Ronin was probably their biggest win. Shredders are 6-6, but I don't think we'd call them elite. So we haven't seen they could beat a team like Nan that has been in the lower end of the upper tier. So I think that's correct that we don't know if they're capable of reaching the heights that Nan has reached.
Yeah, I would say both of these teams are kind of in a slump coming into playoffs. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Nan got owned Tuesday and Thursday last week. HR hasn't been doing super well recently, so this is going to be kind of a mid-off, even though this is the 8th and 9th seed. So hopefully
I think that
this, whoever wins this game, I'm guessing Nan is going to power up enough to be able to challenge Bella, but we'll see.
Nan's going to have a little bit more confidence coming into this game. They haven't lost. They haven't had a bad loss all season. All their losses were to winning teams. HR lost to the Brisket Bombers and to the Wedgies, and those are not the kind of losses you want on your resume to like say, I'm ready to win the championship.
Yeah.
Like Nan's lost 2 in a row, but before that they won 4 in a row. So I think it's hard to feel too bad if you're Nan. You just shake off one bad week against the Acolytes and the Orchids, the numbers 2 through 4, depending on how you rank them teams. Like, okay, that'll happen. We got to figure this out if we want to win, like past the first round. But I think the first round, I think just keep to your game and you got it.
Yeah, those are the number 2 and number 3 seed. Okay. I'm gonna close this one up. This sucker. This is not the most efficient way to do that. We got.
Wipe.
Do you guys want to do UPS versus Beach first, or do you want to go like do this part of the?
Let's just do the left hand to the bracket. Let's do the first round in this, then we'll do the second round after we do all the first.
Okay. The Pasta versus the Beach. UPS almost never fields a bad team, especially in Prospect. So there's really no reality where UPS comes into playoffs and they're like, they suck. Obviously they're the number 4 seed, but who's on UPS?
So UPS, you have the captain and the caller Clanker, or Clank as he's known now. Horribly misspelled, but sure, we'll go with it. You have Adahortua, I guess. Not quite sure how you pronounce it. Sure, that'll work. Rookie who's posting really good first season. Ozzy, who's the long-standing member of UPS. Been there, I know, at least last 2. I don't know how much further back he goes. Double A. I forgot Double A's story. I feel bad.
Double A is Yin.
Sure.
Really?
That.
Oh,
Yin Peak?
Yin, yeah. If you know, you know.
I don't know. I haven't been around long enough or deep enough.
Yin Peak is.
Yin has the most famous quote of all time of being a lower seed and taking out I forget what the seeds were, but he was definitely on the lower side of the bracket and taking out like a top seed and just ended the game by saying you can't anti-strap bullets. And
I think they played on for some reason Vertigo. It's just like in my brain. I don't know if they actually played that, but I just remember Enders quoting that all the time.
yeah.
That's good. And the last member is Wazoo. I think he was a drop down from Tendi. I think AA was too, now that I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I wrote about them before. I've just forgotten. And over on Beach, you have Nafi. And if memory serves, he was a longtime Sav player.
Sav?
6'7", who's formerly Chicken Jockey, just lives to meme.
Okay.
Their newest member is CW. He was with Sav last season, part of their playoff team that gave my academics nightmares. Sky Song. I think she was on another team. I forgot which. And joined up. And then Fallen, who is a mid-season pickup as well. Not that Fallen, the other Fallen.
Okay. Yeah, not Gabriel Toledo.
No.
So you guys, if you didn't know, that's Fallen's real name.
I did not.
This
We
is
know ball.
the famous beach of Scrunkly and KG fame. I know we haven't talked about the GMs for any of these other. Hold on, we can talk about Kigu.
Well, Kigu is extremely consistent in picking out players who are willing to learn systems. I just did a couple scrims with UPS last night, and I got to see firsthand that I can see why they have consistency. Like, they really, really focus on how they work together and how they plan a map to a level that I would aspire to as a prospect player. So Kigu's done well. KG was very, very active this season. The beach team was one of the busiest on the waiver wires. They had three different subs, and they had 3 different cut and signings over the season. So if something wasn't quite feeling right, they were not scared to make a move. And it's hard to say that it necessarily made a difference, because they basically traded off wins and losses every single match.
Each
So-
Tuesday is.
This has been a very turbulent season for the beach prospect. UPS, on the other hand, has been pretty good. They dropped a few games. They dropped one to Nan in overtime.
Yeah, they lost to Nan. They lost to Frog early on. They had a bad time against Wiz, and HG took them to the absolute cleaners, just dumpstered them 13-4, I think,
Wow.
on Ancient, which is kind of stunning because this is a good Ancient team.
I think I played UPS the most this season. They've just kind of been our scrim partners here and there, and even up to last night. And obviously at the beginning of the season we played them as well. And what I will say about UPS is, like, the team they were at the beginning of the season is not the team that they're now. Kind of like a little HR situation. I was nervous because at the time they had beat FNL, who like was on the struggle bus, right? Then lost to Frog. Then they had like what I would call like middle to lower teams that they kind of just went on a streak until they played Wiz and Nan, and then I was like, like, are they going to be able to like compete with like the top teams? This is before Green then turned it on.
Yeah.
And just won out the rest of the season. They took that loss personally. But
they beat AG convincingly, and AG was pretty good even then on match day 4.
Yeah, that's fair. But what I will say is, like, I know they put a ton of work into a lot of their map pool. UPS also has Kono, who is an insane coach.
Slime.
Yeah.
I was, like I said, I scrimmed with him last night, and I was just an observer, just basically listening, and Kono was talking, and I was like, oh, I need to listen to this guy. I need to like shape up and get my shit right for Kono. Oh God.
they're just such a well coached, and UPS just has the resources to like turn a team, even mid players to like great players.
And I know,
and now it helps that Ozzy and Klinger are like already demons in the server. Like, they don't need to get any better.
Yeah. And one of the things I was pointing out is that their losses to the Toads and to the Wiz team, they were both on Anubis. And it suggests that they did not have a great Anubis plan. And their very last match was the 3rd time they played Anubis in a match against the Piranhas, and they beat them 13-9. So this could be an instance where they just needed work on a map and, got completely outstratted or outshot on Anubis by Wiz. So it's really hard to know how much to put into losses like that, where it could just be experimentation and they might course correct. So it's a really scary team. Not easy to think, well, can we take them to Anubis and beat them? Can we take them to Ancient and beat them there? Because maybe they're working on it.
Yeah.
I know they put a ton of work into Anubis recently. Also want to point out that when they played us on Anubis, they were up 11-3. Just going to throw that out there real quick. But no, I'm just kidding. They were up 11-3, and then Jeff won like a 1v4 clutch and broke their eco, and then that was it. Like we just went on a run. But that's in the past. They're definitely a different Anubis team now. We just played them recently, and I think they just dumpstered us. So, Ozzy's him. Don't put him on Dallas server.
That's pretty funny. When we played, I think I only killed Ozzy. It was really funny. I didn't kill anyone else on their team. It was just like me versus Ozzy in mid over and over and over again.
Clank is a scary, scary bad man. That's pretty much all I need to say about that.
Yeah.
I'm putting Pander. Toast, are you on this side as well?
I have a harder time choosing between the two, but just because Legend 6'7" Chicken Jockey, like one of my favorite teammates of all time, so I don't want to pick against him. And I love what they did. The strategy that they did was winning every Tuesday, then losing every Thursday, right? For like the first 4 weeks of the season. 200 IQ play is flip-flopping it the last 2 weeks of the season, knowing that the first day of the playoffs is on a Tuesday. That's genius. So I don't know. Just I go with UPS, I guess. But I hope it's close. I hope it's not a blowout.
I think Nafi has a hero game and carries him to 1 win, but I think it's 2-1 UPS.
Yeah, I'm picking UPS. I think this team is very beatable as far as, top 5 seeded teams go. I think UPS is not like an insane unbeatable roster, but I think they're taking it over Beach.
I think they won enough games in the regular season to avoid the kind of teams that could beat them in the first round.
That's pretty true. Okay. I only fucked up the.
I like how over time we're going to lose more. We're going to lose more and more of the bracket as we go on. It's the Louisiana coast of brackets. Just getting eroded.
UPS, yeah. I honestly think this is. It's probably the closest matchup out of any of these.
Of the left side, yeah. Of all the first rounders, no, but definitely the left.
Versus Boo. I at least know some of the players on these teams. Like, anyway, what are the teams?
Well, you got Boo and AG. So AG, you got my boy Alk and Lociel, who've been there for frickin' ever.
Yeah.
So Lociel's the captain. I don't know if he's calling or not. I never figured out who's the IGL on the team.
I don't think he is calling, but I could be
wrong.
Yeah,
they had their kind of typical right around 1.0 when you combine them seasons. Klubes is the MVP candidate player. ESK.
Yeah, it's what a K.
That's it's 2 O's instead of an U, but I mean it sounds the same. Klubes. Yeah, he's been a hard carry. 1.33 will get any mid-level team up into the upper half of the league.
Yeah,
like
he goes crazy.
You replace him with like a 0.91 rated player, and this team misses the playoffs. You keep him in and out. They're number 5. Like just an astoundingly good player who will not be in prospect next season.
No, guaranteed.
After him, you got Agros, who's been around a little bit. I think he was the Cow last season. He's just a very, very snappy aim. A little surprised his rating's a little low this season at 0.91. I expected him to be in the 1.05 kind of range. And G Turner, who I think this is his second season of prospect. I remember him in Recruit when I started in Recruit back in season 16. Just a cool guy.
No,
former pro.
Cool
Shout out.
Different team. They had a glow up. I think they were doing kind of bad, and then it was just like, you know what, boys, we're gonna turn this shit on.
Well, they started 3-0. It wasn't against the best competition, but they started 3-0. Then they lost 3, and then after that they went 5-1. So it's hard not to look at them as like a team on the rise after that, including a pretty good wins over Wiz and the Orchids, as well as Boo.
Oh, Wiz and Orchids. That's crazy.
Oh, I got the order backwards. I'm sorry. I was looking at this thing backwards. They started with wins over Spirit Screen and Hack. They started 5-1, lost 3, and then finished on a strong up note.
Okay. But, I mean...
But yeah.
In general, that's better than I would have expected AG to play. This is a franchise. They have low aura. Sorry. But...
Whoa!
I mean, they're never the worst, but they're usually struggling for the playoff live. So seeing them comfortably in the playoffs, you know, as a favored seed, that's not something I'm used to seeing in prospects. So you're not wrong.
Okay, Boo has Rye.
Oh yeah,
4 other players.
Yeah, a lot of new
Symmetric.
players. Yeah, Symmetric, who's a 10D drop down.
Oh, okay.
I think he was in Prospect a few seasons ago, and then he got bumped up to 10D. Yeah, a former Frog, I remember that. Yeah, and Trico, who was on Hack last season, just a really sharp rifle, had a nice season. Not quite all-star, but not far from it. Marcos right next to him, another 1.09, 1.10 level player, just doing nice. And I think their Opper is Red Bull, who was, I think, on the final girl team that won the Recruit Championship last season.
That sounds right.
This is why I don't remember shit like my anniversary, because I know random facts. Like Red Bull won the championship and Recruit last season, a tier I don't follow.
Yeah. I mean, when Final Girl wins it, though, you're like, oh, that's weird. If it was UPS winning it, you would not know any of the players who are on that team. These guys have been doing pretty well. I think there was kind of a meme that they were the underdogs for the entire season. Just like hovering at like mid to upper middle kind of area.
It was hard to respect them when you lose 4 out of your first 5 games. And like AG at the time, we didn't know it would be as good as they were. And Rock'em Sock'em was as bad as we kind of thought they were at the time. Losing to UPS and Wiz is a little bit hit and miss, but I mean, you're 1-4. You know, why would anyone think you're going to, you know, be a real competitive threat?
So you may have heard my dog in the background crying.
I did not, but anyway, after the rough start, they went on a kind of a tear. They won 5 out of the last 7, including wins over the Journeymen, who went 8-4, your Pop Flash team, and of course the big upset, the match day 12 win over Boa. So,
they took out Boa. I forgot about that.
But yeah, they took out Boa, 13-9 on Mirage, but what's amazing is before that they lost to my associates team 7-13 on Overpass. So it's a little bit of they can beat anyone and they can be beat by anyone.
They're like, I feel like there's a pro team that's like that. Was that Liquid?
No, they can just be beat by anyone.
Oh, right. So both of these teams are like not necessarily top teams, but they could just destroy somebody on any given Tuesday.
Yeah, I'd say that it's fair to say Spirits had the bigger wins, but AG was just the more consistent team. They ended up with the same rating, average among their player 1.02 rating. So on paper, you're not wrong that this is one of the closest matchups we have, and I think it's just going to come down to whether you think the more consistent team can beat the more dynamic team, and whether Klubs can carry, or if a team of like a bunch of 1.0 to 1.1 players can win.
In my book, it's always going to be the even team that wins over the team that has a carry. I think that's especially true in a best of 3, where if Klubs drops off the map at some point, I don't think the rest of this AG team is going to be able to pick up the pieces against Boo. What do you think, Toast?
Listen, my predictions have always been 100% accurate, and nobody look at the history.
Yep.
I actually think historically on the Prattle predictions, I think I'm one of the worst. But that stops today, because the Do Crew, Boo Crew rise up. I can't root against any team that Dewey's semi a part of. I don't know how you really play against this team, especially they're catching fire to end the season. If you try and play a structured, set up and take space and do that, like, okay, Rise waiting on the other side of that smoke with a Zeus ready to like zap your face off. And if you try and run at them, like Sim and Trico just run you down. Like it's. I think Boo's going to be a scary team, and honestly, I think looking at the bracket, like they can make a run.
Yeah, I agree. I think UPS is not a terrible matchup for them either.
It's just
Well,
I just don't know.
I don't think they're getting there.
Pressure situation. It's a lot of pressure to put on Kloops. You're almost asking him to play perfect. In a best of one, sure, that'll happen. But over 3 games or best of 2, 3 game series, like I don't know. I think Boo just might.
Like Boo can watch, and they only have to care about what Kloops is doing. Just shut him down and win.
Well, these exact rosters faced off on Inferno match day 1. And in that game, Kloops had one of his worst games of the season. Not the worst, but I mean, relative to his typical performance, it was an underperformance. And Alk in low CL stepped up and led the Spirits to a victory.
Spirits or led the?
I'm sorry. Led AG to a victory over the Spirits. I think that, like, I think the Spirits are going to be a little leery about going back to Inferno since AG beat them there. And I think we're going to see Mirage Ancient as their picks, the 2 team picks, and the neutral's going to be Nuke. And in that setup, I think their overall roster works a little better. I think that they're going to have an advantage. And I think Kloops has been under pressure all season to perform. He's had to carry this team to the playoffs. I don't think it's going to suddenly, he's going to suddenly forget how to play. I think there is a little bit of experience that comes that can help with making your playoffs go a little more smoothly. But Kloops is so dominant. We saw Spooty carry ATL into the finals last season. I think that we're going to see Kloops doing a game imitation of that, and I think they're going to take a 2-1 win over Boo.
Okay, all right, respect that. They are the better seed for sure. Okay, we've finished the left side of the bracket. We're putting. It's 2-1. Going Boo over here. Now we got AVI.
Well, fortunately for me, I'm going to pick UPS over either of them, so it's all good.
There.
It is all good.
Well, I see what you did there. That pun did not go over my head.
It did for me the first time, so I had to repeat it.
I just played against AVI and Scream, and they were doing pretty good. Although I guess Nan sucks. So, Wiz kind of destroying, kind of going apeshit.
Am I alone in being confused as to how that's happening?
It's the sheep. It's Sheep's world, and we're just living in it.
I just always feel like Sheep's like a spliff away from being like completely helpless, and then but if he's on the right side of that high level, he's perfect. And I just don't know how he balances that tightrope.
Well,
I mean,
Sheep has been on this train before. Like, he's been the one player on the team who is like popping off constantly. But before, his teams would lose, and now
he didn't have support. He didn't have support on his other teams very much. Like, I don't remember him having 3 other players who were at or above 1.0 last season.
Yeah. Who are those players?
You got Ricochet.
Shout out, former Prog.
Yeah, go for Rico. Aftermath in all caps, like you do. You got the poopless banana.
Yeah, that is confusing.
I know, there's just too many bananas, so you just got to know which one is poop, which one doesn't. Bananarama, and Nash Browns, who was Nash Browns on Wiz last season, or was he on Hack? I thought he was on Hack.
H4K.
Yeah, he was on Hack. Okay, I thought so. So he's a new pickup to this team. And they started off pretty good, and they kept up pretty good. They had a confusing loss to the Worms match day 2, but their only losses were to AG and the Orchids, and along the way they beat some pretty good teams like Frog, Final Girl before Final Girl figured it out, Spirits, UPS, and Nan. That's not a bad resume. Like, this is not a team that lucked their way into the finals or just like had a nice easy schedule.
No, they've earned it. Totally.
AVI
not dominant.
They should have more than 5 wins. I cannot figure out why they only have 5 wins.
I agree. It's weird.
Well, considering I just played a triple overtime against them, it's Steel and like Dale.
Was it triple or was it quad? I think it was quad overtime.
I don't know. It was 25.
It was quad. It was quad overtime. Yeah. Quad is 25 to win. Yeah, it was insane.
All I know is it was a lot.
And that was only their first of 2 overtime games that week, and they had a double overtime the week before.
Yeah, they did get their reps in. They can't say that they didn't, but like Steel dropped 50 against us in that quad. Like, there is some rounds where like he just decided, okay, like we're gonna win this now, and just ace their 4K us like off jump. Like, there's just definitely some takeover rounds.
Okay, who else we got?
Yeah, you got Dill.
Okay, I remember how to spell that.
Yeah, I think he was on ATO last season. He was a very solid performer. Skooma.
Regular Skyrim enjoyer.
Khajiit loves wears if you have coin. Yeah.
Continue.
And he took a season off. Tiny Jesus. Was he a recruit last season, or am I just tripping?
Oh, I think he was a recruit promo.
Yeah, and Smike, who was in prospect last season, although I cannot for the life of me remember which team it was. Was it AG or was it like ATO? I can't quite remember, but
AP, I think. They only have 5 wins.
They only have 5 wins.
Okay.
They've had a relatively stable team. I think they picked up Tiny Jesus midseason. And their team average rating is 1.03. And Wiz's team average rating is 1.04. So it's kind of interesting. It suggests to me they're leaving wins on the table. Like, they had a narrow overtime loss against the Worms. They had a narrow overtime loss against Spirit. 2 narrow regulation losses against AG, and the only loss anyone's ever suffered to Aimlock Anchors this season. So I think it's not a bad team. They just squandered opportunities. And meanwhile, they've also beaten Boa, they've beaten Ronin, they've beaten the Froggers. So they can hang. A lot of teams,
Nan hasn't actually.
Eight teams haven't beaten the Froggers, but only 5 teams out of 12 didn't beat the Cardinals. So they're a very beatable team, even though they're a very good team, and that's kind of confusing and hard to really parse for what it means for this playoff series.
I hate to be the one to say it, but I'll call it how it is. Both teams are made up of like 2 really hard carried teams in like Dylan and Steel for AVI, and then on Wiz, right? It's the sheep show, right? So it really is just who shows up, who at carry shows up. Like, it's unfortunately what I think it's going to be.
even though Sheep Sheep's got a better rating than Steel, I think it's still less the Sheep Sheep show on the Acolytes. And that's the reason why they're 9-3 instead of like 6-6, because Ricochet, Aftermath, and Banana all are putting in good work. I think Nash Brown is like a little bit further behind them, but he has popped off in a couple games.
Yeah, I do
so it's
think
not like he's
Wiz has a
helpless.
better supporting core, like behind them,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why, Sheep hasn't had to really go crazy. But like
He
in
has
their,
gone
like,
crazy.
yeah, no, I'm saying in their to end the season, right? Sheep hasn't had like to have. He's had them. Like I think I forget who they played. Was it Man? Where Sheep like went like ended again like at the end of the season was something stupid like a 1.7
Yeah.
1.8 rating or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's more, I think, the supporting team around Sheep, I think, is just a tad bit better than what AVI's got to offer. So for that reason, I'm out on AVI. Whiz up, is that a thing?
If you look at the team at the
Wizard Money Gang.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm also going with Wiz. I think it's 2-1 series. Wiz has just been, like I said, more consistent. He had like Sheep has put in like heroic efforts to beat really good teams like UPS and Nan. I don't think he needs to do that against AVI. I think he can just be like good and not transcendent, and they can still win. I think for AVI to win, they need Steel to be transcendent, and they need Dill to be very good, and they need the others to show up and shut Sheep down. And I think they can do that once. I just don't like. I think the other thing to consider is that Wiz is a little bit better on the goofy maps. I think they're a little bit better at Inferno. They're better at Nuke, and in a playoff situation, you can force the other team to play on a map that they're going to be uncomfortable on, and I think that's going to favor Wiz as well.
Yeah, I definitely would not be surprised at AVI taking a map and getting it really close on another one, but it's hard for me to say that they're going to take the whole thing.
It's what AVI is really good at, is taking a map really close, but not winning. They've had all season to hone that skill.
We got the Shadow Wizard Money Gang up here. HG versus the Final Girl.
This is the very impossible to predict map. Yeah, I went back and forth on this one.
For days, you're sweating.
Kept me up at night.
Yeah. Couldn't even see straight after a while. You had chalkboards just full of stats. Because HG is 7th seed, but they do not seem like they're actually 7th seed material. IMO.
In which direction?
I think they would be lower. But we'll find out. Who's on HG?
Well, you got Reprise, who's the upper. Had a good season with ACA last season in Recruit. Drag Slap, they picked up in just before the end of the preseason. He's been their best player with just under 1.1. Yeah, a couple A's in there. Cryptic, who we all remember from Greenhouse last season, where he joined them late in the season. They kind of almost made the playoffs with a miraculous turnaround. Brave, who I think is a rookie. He's their IGL. He's had a very solid season. And then Pivo, who was a 10D drop down, I think, who I don't know that much about.
Oh, Pivo's been around for forever.
He was missed in the last like 4 or 5 games of the season. A lot of subs in the last half there, which is kind of an interesting goal we'll get into. Obviously, Final has Counter-Strike, we all know and love. They also have Covey, who is a 10D drop down, who's been pretty solid. Glizzy Queen, who's been just ridic. I think definitely come on strong the second half of the season after a little bit of a slow start, if memory serves. meets the beloved captain. And then their latest acquisition, I think starting just before their win streak kicked off, was Oven Blade, who's been opping like a absolute demon. I love that dude in the preseason. I was thinking we need to draft this guy, but it didn't work out. Like, he was looking really, really good there. Although he didn't open as much. He was mostly rifling, but just really sharp aim.
Yeah, FNL, they surprise me. I know that Covey is good. He's the kind of guy who just shows up on match days and frags. I really wasn't expecting this team to be like super good. I feel like they've really gone Super Saiyan recently.
I think a lot of it starts with Counter-Strike. I think that Evan had a, I don't want to say bad, but he just didn't have a very good season last season. And I didn't expect it to change the way it did. He improved by like 0.2 rating this season. Like, just looked very dynamic, very sharp, winning the opening duels, like just throwing better util. Like, he just seems to be much more on his game, and it's translated through this whole roster, I think, especially the second half of the season.
Yeah, he actually cut himself from the roster last season.
Yeah, I remember that. I gave him shit in the Prattle for that. Like, what are you doing? That's like very admirable to fall on your own sword, but you're not the worst. You're not the worst. You're not the problem. Stick in there. Keep going.
This isn't AP,
bro. Yeah, but it really, even though he's done very well, I think his best move is picking up Oven Blade, who's been just dropping bombs the second half of the season as well. They started off really rough, and just at some point they clicked. They had a very close loss to the good Journeyman team, and then after that they've gone 6-0, and now we're debating like whether a 6-0 run means that they're just unstoppable, or if they just got hot and now they're just gonna lose.
Yeah, that's tough.
I know a lot of players in the FNL camp, and everybody, like lurkers in the server to everybody down to like the recruit team, are just filled with like such incredibly intelligent people that they just know the game so well. Like, even on the recruit team, they have players that like the brain knows exactly what to do, but the only issue is like mechanics, right? And that's the only reason. Like, if they were just mechanically better, like they'd be contender Jolly players. Like, they're the knowledge for the game, and they have got such good resources outside of the game, to VOD review and coach and do all that. So they have I'm sure they have a lot of help. Also, they're called the Cedar Creek Creeps.
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't take them to Nuke.
Yeah.
The name is after, like, that's their paradise. Which I know 2 of their big wins came like down the season.
Well, they beat
on Nuke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about big wins. They beat my associates on Nuke.
I think when you start, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-1. Any win post that, or you start 1-6. Any win post that is a big win, no matter who you play.
I mean, it was against my 1-7 associates, so they needed to win that game to like really secure playoffs, and they won at 13-4, going away on a map that we had sneaky stratted up. We never played it in this season, and we thought we had, okay, we can surprise them. We did this to HR last season. We surprised them on a map we hadn't played, and no, they just mopped the floor with us, and then they took Boa to it and took them to the cleaners too in a 24-round win.
Yeah, but I mean, even most of the teams they played, right? GF surprised us when we played them, and just like pretty much just beat the teams that they were supposed to beat, and then beat the teams they weren't supposed to beat, right? Like, I don't know if back then I probably didn't, but FNL over AVI, Boa, Cow to follow, right? Cow's a great team. HR to end the season, like, that's a really good resume to end the season, and it's hard for me not to choose FNL right now. They're just so hot.
What do we got on HG?
I suppose one more thing about FNL. You mentioned like that they have like a really good game sense, like really good brains, and they really need it. I did some 10-mans with Evan and others, and they need to know how to play the game without like communicating, because they yap so goddamn much. You can't, you don't, HG, you don't need to walk anywhere. Run. They're not going to hear your footsteps. They're too busy yapping. Like, you got to have amazing, impeccable game sense to play the way they do, I think.
Hilarious.
I'm kidding, but yeah,
I honestly don't
it's a fun
know
time.
very much about HG, which is why I might have also been like, yeah, I don't think this team's that good because I haven't been keeping track of what they've been
HG's
at all.
also a great team. They're just filled, I think, with more consistency over the season. Well, obviously, right? Another team that's played, I think, or almost every map. Hold on.
Yeah, they played on 6 maps.
Yeah.
They've won on 5 of them. They've just haven't managed to win on Mirage. But otherwise, they've won on 5 different maps, which is a pretty good indicator of, like, thought and balance. They mostly focus on Ancient, though.
Yeah, their wins are great. Right? Beach is one of a team we just talked about, right? Like an even team, 6-6. OS is a playoff team. FNL, like, they beat midway through the season. There was a big name in there at some point in life.
AG and UPS were their big wins.
Those are insane wins, and I'm pretty sure that UPS game wasn't close.
They spanked them 13-4. They had a sub there, Draco, who absolutely went off. So that's kind of the asterisk that we need to keep in mind, is that the last 4 games they played all involved a different sub, and 3 of those subs posted a 1.17 rating or better. So, they had Ouch posted 1.17, Draco posted 1.73, and Young Robot did a 1.2. So, I don't know what to expect in the first round. Are they going to have Pivo back, and is he going to do a 0.94 like his season rating? Is this team going to be, that same 8-4 team if they bring that back? So that's the question. I think the way to summarize this team for someone who doesn't know would be grinders. They really they work hard to get these wins. Like, a lot of these are very, very close wins, except for, like, against the Aimlock Anchors and UPS. They're all pretty much 13-11 wins, 13-10, 13-11, somewhere in that ballpark, or overtime wins. So this team's been put through a crucible, and they grind out these tough wins with a team that on paper is not as good as AVI. Like, this team has a 1.0 rating versus AVI's 1.03. So, what are they doing? Are they out strategizing other teams to eke out those wins where other teams would lose?
Yeah, it sounds like game time.
Yeah.
Playing the small percentages much better.
Oop, it's a 4v5. Better save.
Yeah, I have FNL in this, though.
Okay.
I'm going FNL as well. I think I bounce between the two a lot. I think HG is. I think it's a coin flip, and I just went with FNL based on, like, that they seem to have figured out the last half of the season. I mean, both teams are on riding really good streaks. HG's got a 4-0, FNL's got a 6-0, but I think that question about the subs leaves the door open for FNL, like, to be more consistent here.
Okay, fair enough. This isn't really like a 3-0 like guaranteed FNL, but
no, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of these games go into overtime.
Well, I also wouldn't be surprised if this is one we all got wrong. Like, if we get any of these wrong, and if it's FNL versus HG, I'll say, yeah, that tracks. I think AG Boo and HG FNL are just like the two times where we're really just kind of guessing, and nobody has a real solid feel.
GRN, Dan just played a few games against them, because we played them on Thursday, and then we played them again on Sunday as a practice game, and they beat us. They were very dominant. They were winning their duels. This is a team that shoots very hard.
Yeah, I think that they are what ACA was last season, and that's not just the Zippy connection, but I just think that they have a very classic, balanced team that plays well off each other and has multiple, like, multiple players who can all post 20 kill games. Stampy, Soap Kitchen, Paladin, Zoheki, and Zippy all are threats in different ways to post 20 kills. So you can't just rely on we got to shut down their op like for Sheep and we'll win. You got to do a lot to win against this team, and they can just like find a different way to win if you're shutting down one of their avenues.
Who's the last player? Paladin, Zippy.
Stampy. Stampy's been just absolutely lighting it up the last couple weeks. Like his last week, I think he had a 1.58 average rating. Like just obscene. He had 50 kills in well under 50 rounds. Like I think it was like 20 or maybe 35 rounds, give or take. Just bonkers.
Yeah, I feel like all these guys can shoot.
Like Zippy's their top player by rating, but ironically enough, I don't think that they're leaning on him the same way ACA did last season. Like he's not quite been the same hard hitter, but he doesn't need to be. If he can be a team player, like I think the synergy is there that this team is stronger than the sum of its parts. And that's why they've looked just so dominant the second half of this season.
I feel like Soap Kitchen's crazy.
Yeah, they beat us week 1 in Soap Kitchen. Soap Kitchen hurt us on Ancient. Like Ancient's an ACA playground historically, and they just he went off. Very good new player.
I think I can name all of the players on this team.
I bet you're gonna get one wrong.
Yeah. Ironically, I would also take that bet.
Oh. Ooh.
So I'll give you the easy one. Gayaju.
Nope.
Yeah, here's where you got wrong. You went with history and not what actually happened in the last couple weeks or the last week.
Dirt's not on there anymore?
No, Dirk
he
got cut for Mr. Cool.
Mr. Cool?
Yeah.
Well, what the... all right. Well,
I knew you'd miss that one. Like I would have, if I didn't do a big compilation of what happened on every team, I would have definitely gotten that wrong too.
yeah, I don't even know who this other person is.
Mr. Cool was on 5.
No,
I think.
I know Mr. Cool.
Or I'm making a Max Cool Jazz. Gaiju, who was a new player, played a bunch of combines with them, and they have very solid aim. Like a very nice first season 1.01 rating. That's not even close. It's GEIAZOU.
Nope, that's
Very
close
good.
enough.
Yeah,
That's it.
You got Scottish, and I'm going more Chinese, but sure,
Hao.
why not? Gai Hao. Okay.
So this team is a bunch of bros hanging out, having a couple beers and playing some Counter-Strike. At least it was more like that when Dirt McGirt was here, but
It did seem like a Pabst Blue Ribbon team back then.
yeah. No hate on Milky, but I see him lose so much, and it's not even like his fault. It's just that I don't know, teams that he's on just don't always win very much.
Well, these are two teams that were miserable last season. They started like 0-8 and like 1-8 respectively, I think, or 1-7. And they both finished like 3 wins, I think, missing playoffs last season. So I'm glad to see them both in the playoffs, and one of them's going to go to the next round. I agree with you that I think it's a little bit rough to say that the Piranhas are going to challenge the Orchids here.
The
Piranhas,
I think GR's
Piranhas are
so confident. It's so shooting so hard. I just don't see.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's a difference between a nicely average prospect team and a very elite prospect team. Like, because Piranhas don't, Milky, Gaiju, Mr. Cool, and Lance all are between 1.0 and 1.1, which is fine. You want multiple players to be in that range to be a playoff team, to be 500 or better. They have a better team rating than HG, which went 8-4. But it's just there's a certain lack of explosive potential that GRN has, like as a team. Like one person can go off and get 20 on this GF team, but GRN, 2 players can every week, guaranteed.
Yeah. And also, Lance has been opping over Milky, which I thought was insane. I don't know if they were doing that, but
I mean, I think it's worked for them, but not enough.
Milky's he has so many highlights on the up. I never thought that he would give it up.
There's the only thing I can really say for GF is they dogged us like a few weeks ago, and admittedly it was probably a game that we're like, it's GF, will be fine, and then Milky smacked me in the face repeatedly. So
you're talking about scrim or something?
No, in match day. Like I think it was match day 7 or 8 or something like that. They did not. I called Milky the most handsome GM in CSC, and he smacked me in the face for it.
Much anyway.
Yeah.
I think you were a little bit overconfident on Anubis. You won against UPS 100%. And HG, and you just thought we're gonna spank them, and they had a game plan. And Anubis is humbling.
They humbled us real quick. They made us do a lot of work on Anubis post that match day. So
you go and you think this is a T-sided map, and then you're facing down a 3 and 9 half. Like, oh shit! I hope it's a CT-sided half map now.
I remember saying like something along the lines of like, because of that UPS game that we had earlier where we were down 11-3, I was like, guys, I can't say that we haven't been here before. Like let's lock in. And then that was it. Like they shut the door on us real fast, and we're like, oh, I guess we're going to bed early. I mean, all that being said, like I still think Green. We've played Green also a ton this season. I don't think I think at best have tied our scrims. I don't think we've beaten them as a whole, and that's even with the Zippy pickup. Like, that team is so good, and they're so well rounded as well, and their team play just is. They're so like in my opinion, I think they're one of the, if not the most well structured teams, disciplined, and like their post plants are so great, and they have a plan coming out of spawn, and I think they're going to be a hard team to beat in a best of 3 series.
I think GRN has weaknesses. I think that their util knowledge as a team is a little underwhelming. So I think a team like UPS or BOA that has exemplary utility ability is going to give them fits still. Like they faced them both and lost to both of them before they became the same team that they are, like match days 3 and 6. So maybe that's changed. Like I know they can aim, I know they can shoot, but you know, I think they can be beat, but I don't think GF is a team that's going to do it.
Yeah.
I will say also, Green is 9-3 with, I think, like one of the worst pistol ratings that in like the tier. So it cannot be easy to win all these games losing and already like digging yourself out of a hole. So
that means that only you put a rifle in their hands, they're lethal.
And it's like, yeah, and they just crawl right back out, right? And I don't know if they're just managing their eco better or like what, but I mean, just like I said, scary team to play at this point. I mean, scary team to play all season, but
yeah,
I think the playoffs is no different right now.
Yeah, UPS wins twice as many pistol rounds as Orchids, and the Orchids won more rounds overall. So clearly there's a level of rifle comfort going on here.
I've played them this maybe and they were just fucking around, like they were team killing and shit. I don't want to know what happens when they lock in.
Oh Lord. Yeah, the real trick is to like somehow get Zippy distracted with Honkai Star Rail or something before the match and just have him miss it or something. That's how you win. Try that out, GF.
Yeah. I bet Milky can get some of them addicted to gambling before the game.
Now we're cooking. Use code PRODTOAST for 5%
You gotta
bonus.
think outside the box.
You can't play the match if you don't have a house, idiot. Bet it all on the ponies. This is a very classic matchup. This is pretty funny.
Ronan versus the Froggers.
Yeah,
He's cooking.
Frog versus OS is just that's not like a new franchise or anything. These are like seriously old
Sure.
franchises and like.
I don't know if we were in the same boat as OS has been around since like CSC started, I think.
No, you're right in that every other bracket has a team that's from like the last 3 seasons. Final Girl, Boa, Boo.
Beach, yeah.
How old is Wiz? Wiz is pretty new too.
Wiz is pretty new.
Yeah, Nan, UPS, HR. I mean, but I'm just saying of the teams you pick to win, it's mostly new teams, new franchises.
The actual Toast, not the young,
better
handsome,
looking, more handsome,
dynamic Toast. Yeah,
true,
go
true,
getter.
true.
The stale Toast, as we call them.
We also got the King Lax on the team.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And Kevin, don't get it twisted. We call him Bao. Well, that's his name, but he's my.
Kevin is the ultimate hype man. He is a endless fount of joy for Counter-Strike.
This might be one of the if you're a teammate, like I feel bad for Lax. He's got to play with 2 Toasts, 2 Kevins, and my fiance's name is Carrie.
Oh Lord.
So
and his name is halfway to laxative. I mean, just all kinds of problems.
I just feel so terrible sometimes when call outs get made, and there's been several times where me and Jeff get confused, and it's spelled IE.
Hard carry.
Yeah, but
I bet that because she's been
lights out. So I do feel bad.
Over on OS, you got Bot.
That's
Bot. B. Yeah, the other B. You got Ace, who's been the returning captain. And you got their hero, God King, 003.
Oh, yeah.
Who had a really fun time breaking the core parsing with his name last season. So they fixed it by putting an X in front.
Is that really that was their solution? That's pretty funny.
I don't know for a fact, but that's what I figured, because it was a pain in the ass to try and like figure out how to actually reference him when core did not understand him.
Ender
so
runs and guns in mixed space. Shane calls.
Shane's apparently not calling.
He's calling most of the time.
Oh, so somebody corrected. I remember. I think I called that earlier in the season that Shane was calling, and then somebody DM'd me, and I forget who it was, but somebody DM'd me and yelled at me.
I was asking for clarification recently, and he says it's a split. Sometimes he'll call. It's really kind of they'll put him and like Ace on opposite ends of the map, and just kind of each work locally to share info and make decisions.
More like a captain setting. Nice.
I don't think it stops Shane from calling. It's one of the reasons why we wouldn't me and him wouldn't make a good pair, because we'd both be like yapping and like let's do this. No, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
And 03 closes.
I love Shane. I love Shane. Yeah, and just point 03 in a direction, have him like donk everything like you do. Like him and Klubes are the 2 single most game-changing players. Sheep's in that discussion too, but really I think that Klubes and 003 are the straw that stirs the drink, because Sheep has a very complete team around him. I think that the Ronin are a little bit much more top-heavy. Him, Shane, and then to a lesser degree Bot. Bot's been very, very nice op, kind of an Imdeliri style, an artichoke style op for prospect. Like can hold down, like not elite, but really, really solid. And Ender's an ace. Kind of, I know Ender's is a really, really good shot, but just a little bit further back. So kind of need 003 to carry weight to keep OS in these matches.
Yeah, Anders uses the A4 like a SMG.
Yeah, bro has W key just like has a weight put on it.
He puts some gun
Yeah.
in there. Anyway,
I love it, but
doing pretty good. They've dropped a few games to some teams that maybe you wouldn't think would beat the Frogs, but they've also been kind of owning.
Well, Piranhas and Cardinals aren't good losses, but they're not bad losses. They're just like, well, and the Cardinals is his own thing in quad OT. You can't, at that point, people's brains are oatmeal, so I'm not going to ding them for that. I think they took a little bit more effort than they should have against my associates on Overpass. Like, if you want to be a hero team, you don't let us take 9 rounds off you because we were a bad team. But other than that, I mean, losing to Boa and Wiz, that's they lost bad to those teams, but on the other hand, those are good teams. So shit to work from. They beat Nan, they beat UPS, and they beat HG, and those are pretty good wins to put on your resume.
This is just a funny match because so many of these people are like people I know very well. I've been on teams with Lex, Enders. I've hung out with Shane a ton. Toast and Prada beat me up before, stole my lunch money, giving me a swirl.
Yeah, a lot of famous names here. A lot of familiar names here. And 003 is probably the most immediate one you can point to and say this dude should not be in prospect.
Yeah.
So I think we're all thinking the same thing, that if Shane and 003 go off, they can take this.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Well, we know what you have to say, so we're gonna immediately discount every word that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Just like we had to do with Ruby for Nan, we just know you're going to be full of shit. So we got to accommodate and understand you have to do your exercises and saying we're going to win. Of course, we're going to win. But yeah. I mean, if Shane 003 show up and drop like 1.2 to 1.5 each, like there's not much you can do. They're just so sharp.
Yeah.
I think we discount Kev's ability, and this is Kev. I'm not speaking about myself in the third person. The difference that he makes when he has Fruit Loops or fruit
snacks,
Fruity Pebbles. Yes, the difference, like that's the difference between like a 6 and 15 game and like a 30 bomb. That's the difference. And I sent him a pallet to his house. So I'm scared for any team that plays us, right? If I have to be honest. Insert sarcasm.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I don't think either of these teams can beat GRN, but who you got, Pander?
Let me see who I got. Gotta go to my predictions. I picked Frog. I think the consistency wins out because you can shut down 3 of their players. And after that, like, a 3v2, 4v2, like you're going to take that every time. Even if it's against better players, you take the numbers. And I think that's what's going to happen.
This is
I think
one where we have a consensus on one team, but this could vary. I mean, OS could do this, no doubt.
I think the patience here, like the veteran patience, is just going to win out. Like every player on the Toads has a level of patience and game sense and has been here before. And I think the desire for Enders and Ace to step up and then the need for 003 and Shane to be heroes, I think that can throw things out of whack a little bit.
Okay.
I do have to correct something though, because I think it was posted. I don't know where it was posted. I read it real quick, but Enders had said something along the lines of the last time an Enders team played the Toast, they lost. And I don't know how that meant, but I've never lost to Enders in the playoffs. I haven't even actually played him in the playoffs. Jeff has, but
in a draft league, I think history is neat, but it's not predictive.
no. The lore is everything, Pandu. I promise.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
The storylines write themselves.
I don't believe in any lore except for the fact that I will always beat Boo when I play them. That's the only lore I believe in.
Oh, no, there's lore. Like last season, I was very upset. I've been playing since season 10 or 11. And there's a few franchises that I've just never have lost to. And my first losses came last season off of forfeit losses, and I won't explain why. But I was super upset. But the lore is there, so we have to make sure we get those get backs there. There's storylines. That's what makes CSC fun. I think it's the storylines.
Are you sure you want lore? Isn't the lore that Frog always loses?
No, it's not loses. We're just the fallen heroes. All right.
What's the opposite of winning a championship?
Winning it.
We win. We win. This season's a new season.
Yeah, it's always a new season.
You face the championship and then you walk backwards into hell.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, Boa versus Nan. How we got? I'm not.
We're doing the whole thing.
Boa. I don't think we need to go over the teams as much.
Yeah, Boa. I think I have got Boa here as well.
Yeah, I think they're just the Nan's a very good team, but I think Boa is just a little bit more complete and just better shots on the average.
They are the number 1 seed. I can't be too mad. UPS versus Boo.
I think Nan will be scary for Boa. I think he'll take one off him, but I think Boa wins. UPS versus Boo. Give me UPS.
Going with the Boo crew.
I think I'm taking Boo on this.
Oh, I love a Cinderella story.
I don't know. It's not that I think UPS is worse. I just think that Boo can turn it on sometimes.
My theory is that Boo can also turn it off, and I think UPS is less likely to turn it off. But it's not to say they can't win. They beat Boa.
That's true.
I will say that UPS did crush Boo the last time they played.
That was so long ago. Who even remembers that game anymore?
Yeah,
it was match day 3.
Oh, that was might have been 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with being wrong, but yes, I agree.
No, as stated prior, these are 100% accurate.
In Clank, I trust.
That's honestly fair. If you're gonna bet on any horse, that's a good horse to bet on.
Yeah, it kind of is. Wizards versus Birds. No, Wizards versus
Final Girl.
Horror movies. I gotta say that
I'm going with Final Girl.
Oh, well, won't do this to me. My brain logically says that Wiz is gonna take this. My heart though. How do you root against Evan Counter-Strike, you know?
I don't hate it. The Glizzy Queen going off.
We're talking former GM of the season. Now my series going off.
Go ape shit. Just decide that
enough is enough. I want to see Evan Blade versus Sheep. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah.
And then the next one, we don't even need to vote. We can just write FRG right there. Don't even need to vote.
Sorry.
Ignore the fact that I just said when talking about Green that we scrimmed them all season and I've never beat them. So ignore that little tidbit that I said and it was right that FRG. Oh, I see you already wrote GRN. Okay, never mind. That's fine.
Yeah.
I also like being wrong sometimes, but you know.
So I guess to save a little bit of time here, are we thinking a BOA GRN final? This is where we see if the hot streak of FNL holds up against GRN. I mean, BOA versus Boo. We can discuss BOA versus Boo if you think, but I didn't think we were going to argue about that one too much.
No.
And that was enough.
I think that that's probably fair, but I do think if GRN makes the finals, they win it.
If they make the finals, that would help me out a lot. That would make me feel way better about myself. I'm not gonna lie.
I would not disagree with that necessarily. I would need a lot of time to go over BOA versus GRN.
This would be really fun. This looks like such a cool.
At a glance, I would slightly favor BOA based on how I think they're going to be complete in their timings and executes and map knowledge and utility. And I think that's going to, like I said before, I think GRN's going to beat any team that isn't like immaculate in util knowledge. And I think BOA could be that team.
I just pray that whatever team, there's no team that's beating us. But like, if in a hypothetical world there is a team that beats us, I think, was it last season or the season prior? I think we got knocked out by UPS, and then they got like 13-0'd the next like
ATL just demolished.
And I was like, oh, that's heartbreaking.
We could have done that. Shit.
That might hurt more than like losing in the first place. Is just watching them get rolled the next team, because it's like, oh,
that was
I could have stepped up and got 13-0'd. Like,
that was lightning striking. I don't think anything could ever prepare for that. Like, never happen again. Just random fluke.
Yeah, that's
for this. I think right now I would say BOA 2-1 if we had to pick now. But I think if we pick, in a couple weeks when this actually happens, I would need to revisit that and rethink. Based on how
a couple weeks when Green's not even there, and it's
yeah. Well, we have GF versus BCH in the finals. All right, we're all fucking idiots. Good job.
What a time to be alive. Honestly, I'd kill for it.
I'm ready for the NAN FNL final.
Nobody's ready for that. For no other reason, but I can't root for Scott in any which way.
I think NAN making the finals would be a little bit like, I'd be glad for you, but I also feel like it would say it would it would just say something kind of disappointing about how the season went if NAN was in the finals, because it's similar to what we saw in season 17 where the NANs won it all despite being a really mid team. Just got hot at the right time, and it's just like, yeah, that happens, but is that what we as the viewers, as the the spectators want to see, or do we want to see like GRN versus BOA, which just seems like a really, you got like new faces and hot rifles and like a rebuild of the previous championship team. I mean, it feels like that's more like a Golden State versus like a LeBron Cavs kind of series where it's like shit's getting real. And NAN versus like, I don't know, NAN versus FRG is like, okay, we now have the Yankees versus the Dodgers again. Hooray. All right. When is this fucking shit over?
Oh. Whoa.
I'm not salty at all of them missing the playoffs. Don't mind me.
This matchup feels like two big buff dudes just like punching each other.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
if some of these other teams would be more like, the chess grandmaster coming out or whatever.
Do you want to see Mike Tyson fight, or do you want to see who's that dude who like? Oh no, I was thinking of that one other like midweight who like is in his 40s and still like gets all the prize fights.
I don't know. There's
Floyd Mayweather. That's who I was thinking of. Like, would you rather watch Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather?
Mayweather? I think it's Mayweather.
Mayweather, yeah.
Iron Mike.
Yeah. You want to watch Iron Mike. You want to see the big haymakers thrown. You want to see the power.
I just want to versus after the match go, I'm going to go Costco get some hummus.
That's fair. They both fought the Paul brothers, and I don't think I can watch another one of those fights though. So, um,
Oh,
I,
Lord,
I
no.
think I think we wrapped it up here well here, fellas. I think the not so totally accurate predictions are there, and if anybody has any complaints about any of them, you make sure you DM. It's at Gabe has bongos, and you just send him all your hate mail.
Yeah, a lot of
he-
like really threatening anonymous tweets.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I just want to take like 1 minute here before we go to give a requiem to the fallen. Like, we'll give some flowers to the teams that tried their best and missed the playoffs. So starting from the ones that came the closest to making it, the Tridents, I love you, Trout. I'm sorry you're not going to be back next season. You probably deserve to make it over the Piranhas and the Wedgies and maybe even the Shoreline Shredders, but the losses just came. Cow, I thought you had a good draft. I thought you had a good team, but again, uneven performances. You beat HR nicely early on, but other than that, you kind of ATO, you were a bad team. You won more games than I did with the ACA, but you probably didn't deserve to. So bully for you for somehow sneaking them. I don't know what went wrong there, and I hope you do better next season. DRG, Brubden, I love you. I think that you and Summer did a really, really good job there, and I think you can do better in the future. Just a tough first season. My ACA is proof that you can't replicate success just by picking the same people and hoping that good things happen. Like, you need to work at it and find new chemistry. It's a draft league, so experiment, try new things. Don't just try the same thing over and over and over again. And the MLK Anchors, I'm so glad you won one. I predicted you wouldn't, and you did. And I'm sorry to AVI that you were the unfortunate victims, but I'm proud of you, Aimlock, for like finally sticking out after 11 losses and getting the win. That's probably more gratifying than any one of the 9 wins that the top teams of this league had. So, yay! Come back again, players on that team, and try again next season. You'll have more success. I guarantee it. You can't have less.
Well, yes, you can.
Technically, but not realistically. Anywho, it was a blast. Thank you, Ruby and Pratos.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. P, everybody.